Welcome to another episode of Stephen Follows Instructions. Today we're looking at Svelte. And the reason why we're looking at it is in Mastodon, Dave Ling said the only crappy thing about Svelte and Svelte Kit, whatever that is the way the whole community seems to have sold out. Also, why is no one using it? Okay, well, I commented to him. The second comment seems to answer the first question, but nonetheless, I'm still curious, and let's have a look. So, what Svelte is, that I got basically reading Dave Lane's comment, is that it's a front end to a Postgres API. So I wonder if he's referring to a Postgres SQL server database. Seems like a no-brainer, he says. Whatever. Okay. That's all I know about Svelte. Nothing else. So let's have a look. Shifts as much work as possible out of the browser and into your build step. No more manual optimization. Okay. Write breathtakingly concise components using languages you already know. I like that. Built-in scoped styling, state management, motion primitives from bindings, and more. Don't waste time trawling NPM for the bare essentials. Like that too. So, what we're going to do is follow the tutorial. We'll see how far that takes us, and then if necessary, we'll read the docs. We always do it that way, right? So, maybe this will work, maybe this won't. We don't know, because this is Stephen Follows Instructions, and anything might happen. Alright, so what do we got? Here we go. Svelte is a tool for building web applications. Like other user interface frameworks, it allows you to build your app declaratively out of components that combine markup, style, and behaviors. These components are compiled into small, efficient JavaScript modules that eliminate overhead traditionally associated with UI frameworks. You can build your entire app with Svelte using an application framework like Svelte Kit, which this tutorial will cover. Or you can add it incrementally to an existing code base. Now, I do have an application on the go. Let's see if it's working. Here we go. So this is my application on the go. I know it doesn't look like much. No code defined. Oh, okay. So, right. Okay, so that's what it looks like right now. Obviously, my application needs work. I was right in the middle of building it. So, note, you'll have to have basic familiarity with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I do have that. Bonus. Tutorial split into 4 main parts. Basic Svelte, you are here. Advanced Svelte, Basic Svelte Kit, Advanced Svelte Kit. Really don't like the name of this. I'm going to get sick of saying Svelte. Maybe it's just Velt. I don't know. I don't like S and V as a letter combination. Alright. Next, your first component. Alright. Solve Hello World. Okay. Okay, here we go. So instructions on the left and working space on the right. Okay, I like that as a format for a tutorial. It's going to give me hands-on, but it's not going to leave me all to myself. Okay, so first, so what do we do here? An application is composed from one or more components. A component is a reusable, self-contained block of code that encapsulates HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that belong together, written into a Svelte file. The app Svelte file opened in the code editor To the right is a single component. Well, it's nothing yet. All right. So it's like hello world in HTML. And that's what we see. Okay, I see. Solve. Oh, okay. Solve actually gives us the answer. Right. So here it is. At Svelte. But name equals Svelte. Hello. Name to uppercase. Alright, so name is the variable. Now we have a function to uppercase that we can apply to that. Just kind of a JavaScript kind of function. Nothing fancy there. Try changing name to uppercase. Yeah, I like that. If I didn't want it all like that, we just do this, I guess. And yeah, and now it just goes, oh, okay, so does Control Z work? No, it doesn't. So I'll just copy this here. Control C. Copy and paste is currently disabled. Ooh, interesting. We recommend typing the code into the editor to complete the exercise, as this results in better retention and understanding. I wonder if that's true. It wouldn't surprise me. Okay, I'm going to enable it. Mostly because I'm broadcasting and nobody needs to. So I like having the choice, I like the thinking, and I like the choice. So already page number 1 it goes in here, right? Yeah, and the results show up instantly. Okay, all right. Dynamic attributes. Our app is missing a source. Our image, oh, okay, here's our image. Our image is missing a source down here, right. Okay. So source equals source. Yeah, okay, I get that. So we'll put our source in here. Normally we'd just put the URL directly in. Nice rickroll, guys. I really like the thinking here. Like as an instruction set. Okay. So, and if I change the image, okay, it's going to have to be a local image. I could probably put an actual HTTP image in here, right? Let's see. See this, instead of typing, this is how I learn. I'll go to, so copy image link. Now we'll come back to, and now I'll just change this to this. See, I just try different things. I say, but it doesn't like that. It does not like that. Probably because of cores. Something. Yeah. Okay. So that's local. I guess it needs to be local. Also, Control Z does not work here, does it? No. Okay. Oh yeah, no, it does work. Good job, guys. All right. Note, ally image should have an alt attribute. Yes, it should. I don't see the warning. Okay, well here's source and name dances. Okay, image equals image source, alt equals name dances. It seems to be more work, not less, but okay. It's important when building web apps, it's important to make sure they're accessible. Yes. So you can make it a man dances. So we can use curly braces inside attribute. Okay, they're just trying to demonstrate that we can use braces inside attributes. All right. I wonder if this would work. Just take all of that out. and put name. Oops. Nope. Doesn't like that. That's too bad. Because that would be pretty cool, right? If you could just put name here, and so it goes name equals, oh, with alt, yeah, you see. What if I did this? Let alt equals, and then tried this. I'll just put that in here. No, that doesn't help either. Alright, let's go back to. It's not uncommon to have an attribute where the name and the value are the same. Well, you see, it should have worked. Source equals source. But it didn't work here. If I just called this alt, and so I should have been able to just put alt. That should have worked. According to this logic, that should have worked, but it didn't. Okay, next, styling. Just like in HTML, you can add a style tag to your component. Alright, style, so here's our style. Importantly, these rules are scoped to the component. Yeah, that's handy. So, how do I want to do that? Svelte. Okay, I guess I just... Oh, I see, I just put my style in there. See here, I'm not going to gain anything from writing all of that out. That's why I'm pasting it in. Alrighty. Oh, natural, useful use of comment from itself. Okay. So, yeah, and the key thing here is it's scoped to the component. I like that too. Although I could probably get it from some sort of central source or cascader or whatever. I don't. Alright. It would be impractical to put your entire app into a single component. I agree. So we can import components from other files and include them in our markup. Alright. So add a script tag to the top of Svelte, and we'll import nested. So let's see. So import nested must be the name of the component, or how we'll refer to the component. And that's the file name, okay. And then include a nested component down here. So nested, where's that going to go? Right after the paragraph. Up here. Oh. This doesn't matter. Nested. This is another paragraph, okay. So, alright, so there's a whole other component kind of like this, located in nested.svelte, and here it is. And see, I could do this now. I'll take the style, I'll go over to nested.svelte, right, and I'll make the color a bit different just so that we can see. Right, and we see now. So this is the one, this is the other, and we see them all working together here. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Alright, component names are always capitalized. Okay, that's worth noting, so it's capital N for nested. Alright. Ordinarily, strings are inserted as plain text so that the characters have no meaning. Right? But sometimes you need to render HTML directly into a component. And you're right. So in Svelte, you do this with a special @HTML tag. Oh yeah, I see. So I just do this @HTML. There we go. And that gives me my formatting. Elegant. Warning. Svelte doesn't perform any sanitization of the expression inside @HTML. So be careful if it's untrusted content. Okay. Reactivity. At the heart of Svelte is a powerful system of reactivity for keeping the DOM, document object model, in sync with your application state, for example, in response to an event. Sure. To demonstrate that, we first need to wire up, or write and then connect, an event handler. We'll learn more about these later. Okay. So let's go. Okay. All right. So we're going to have a button. So with an on-click. Better. It depends on what you're doing. Sometimes you could use an event listener. Add event listener. But here we're doing on-click. I kind of prefer on-click because if you change your state, you have to update your listeners. But that all aside, let's add this to app Svelte. Oh, it's already here. Okay. Inside the increment function, all we need to do is... Oh, I see. We'll put the code in here, the handler code, so count plus equals 1. Oh yeah, I get what's happening here. So, click to count, and then we'll say time if once or times otherwise. So let's put our handler code here. Alright. And now, we have to run it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's a bit weird. Maybe not weird, but it's a bit odd updating. But this is a better example, I think. Right. And so I don't need this anymore. Okay. Oh. I guess it should say something. There we go. Press me. Okay, now. Yeah. See, it just increments the count there. I like that. Because this is nice because I can work with this as a value that I could upload or something. Declarations. Svelte automatically updates the DOM when your component state changes. Right. So if I change the value of count, it's going to update the document object model, which is what displays, well, whatever I'm showing. Some parts of the component need to be computed from other parts, right? And recompiled anytime they need a change. For these we have reactive declarations. Oh yeah, here we go. So doubled equals count times 2. So count equals 0. Right, so we'll put this in here. Right below it. Right, so okay, so yeah, what's different here, like if I didn't have this $sign and colon, it would just double it and then that's what it would be forever. And it would be 0, right? But what this says is, if this changes, like, this is going to change as well. It's valid if unconventional JavaScript. Yeah, I believe that. Which Svelte interprets to mean rerun this code whenever any of the referenced values change. I do so like that. So let's put this here after doubled. Oops. No, why doesn't it like that? I can't just refer to it. Maybe I misspelled doubled? No. It seems not to be updating. Unexpected token. Doubled. Huh. Alright, this is odd. Why do we have an issue here? Let's reset it. It's still not updating it. Let's solve it. No. Let's try... back. And then forward. Let's solve. It's still not working. Huh. Why not? Count double is W. Inspect. Console. Oh, okay. Well, this is Vercel crap, which is always garbage. But other than that, shouldn't be an issue. Well, I don't know why that doesn't work. Let's try reloading the works. Okay. Open files, starting dev server. Yeah, I guess we somehow crashed our little dev server. Oh. Couldn't start the app. Oh, because of... Oh, for God's sakes. Please ensure third-party cookies are enabled for this site and disable enhanced tracking protection. Why on earth would I do that? If you have delete cookies and site data when, or go to the legacy Svelte tutorial instead. And we know that it's Vercel that's done this. So I see what Dave Lane says about selling out to Vercel. Just garbage. Just garbage code, Vercel. Let's go to the legacy Svelte code tutorial instead. Alright. Run declarations. Interesting. It all looks different now. Huh. All right. Can I move this up? Yes, I can. All right. Result, JS output, CSS output. Okay. So, show me. Yeah, now this works fine. Boy, that's really annoying. And yeah, I can imagine that would completely stop somebody right there. It's what I call a blocker. For me, it's no big deal. Figure out what's happening pretty quickly, and happily there's because I wasn't gonna like turn off their track or allow them to do tracking cookies on me. All right, moving on. And we'll go with the new look. We're not limited to declaring reactive values. We can also run arbitrary statements reactively. For example, we can log the value of count whenever it changes using console log. Yeah, of course we can. All right. And you can group these. Oh, you can group them with as a block. Ooh, cool. All right. And you can even put it in front of if statements. Let's use this. That's pretty funny. I like that. So, alright. So, 6, 7, 8, 9. Count is dangerously high. And it won't let me go over 9 because I declared that here. Huh. Okay. Next. Edit this chapter. I wonder what that does actually. Oh, it's right. It's in GitHub. Okay. I do like that. I can do a pull request. Get the Vercel tracking garbage out of the tutorial. That's no place for tracking garbage. Alright. Svelte's reactivity is triggered by assignments. Methods that mutate arrays or objects will not trigger update by themselves. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. For example, oh, I see. Clicking the add a number button calls the add number function, which adds a number to the array but doesn't create any sort of recalculation. So, yeah, so let me see here, add a number. And we're not seeing anything. But if I recalculate after adding it, numbers equals numbers. Now, see, so I have to redeclare it, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Or you could write this more concisely using the ECMA script 6 spread syntax, which is not familiar to me. Function add number. Numbers equals, right. So let's do that. So numbers equals, and then dot 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 numbers, which this is this array, numbers dot length plus 1. So yeah, this is new to me. So let's just look that up. Spread syntax. Allows an iterable, such as an array or string, to be expanded in places where 0 or more arguments for function calls or elements for array literals are expected. Okay, so here we have a function sum, return x plus y plus z. So sum and then dot 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 numbers. So I guess the dot 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 means each member of the array numbers, right? So here, my function a dot dot dot, each member of the array iterable objects. And I don't know what the b means. Well, whatever. A function, b, right, and just whatever's. Here, array literals. So I can stash each member of iterable object into this array as a member of the array. That's wild. Only iterable values like array and string can be spread into array literals and argument list. Oh yeah, so I could actually do, right, array equals dot 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 object. No, object is not iterable. Array and string. Okay. You can create an object out of an array. Huh. So my function. Alright, well that's really interesting. Let's go back to where we were. So here, numbers equals all of the other numbers, each number of numbers, and since this is an array, right, so we're just redeclaring this as an array with all the previous members of the array plus a new member, the value of which is numbers.length, so in other words 4 plus 1, which is 5. Makes sense to me. Okay. The same rule applies to pop, shift, and splice into object methods such as map.set, set.add, etc. Okay, what is that rule? The rule that I can redeclare. Right, so I might have, array name equals splice whatever array name. Something like that. Probably going to have to see that in operation more. Numbers length. Plus 1. Won't trigger. A simple rule of thumb. This is what I needed. The updated variable must directly appear on the left-hand side of the assignment. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get that. Okay. So far we've dealt exclusively with internal state, that is to say, the values are only accessible within a given component. Right. In a real application, you have to pass data from one component down to its children. So components have children. They're not just arranged in a sequential order, they're arranged hierarchically. Okay? That's a really important concept. In any real application, okay, to do this, we need to declare properties, generally shortened to props, because, and so that we do that with the export. Okay. So here, so import nested from nested.svelte. Now we'll export it. Nested answer equals 42. Show me. Edit the nested svelte component. Let's see. I don't see. Oh, here we go. The nested svelte component. Oh, okay, here we go. Now enter. And now we have to export the answer. Right. So, come back here. So the script imports the value from this nested app. So we call it an app. And here it exports it. Alright, that makes sense. So we got our value, and I'm assuming we can pass values to this. That's probably next on our list of things. We can easily specify default values for props in nested Svelte. So that answer equals a mystery. Alright. And if we now add a second component without an answer prop, it will fall back to the default. Okay, so here. Oh, I see. Right. So nested answer equals 42. So if I pass a value to it, nested answer equals 42 nested. Oops, let's type the answer. Right, answer equals Bert. So I can force an answer. But if I don't have a value for that, oh, let's do it like this. Answer equals nothing. Oh, huh. What if I just say null? Let's try spelling it right. The answer is null. Okay. All right. If you have an object of properties, you can spread them onto a component instead of specifying each one. Okay, yeah, that's okay. So info dot 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 package. So info dot 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 package. Oh yeah, okay, I get it now. So I don't need to name each one of these. I can just go info EKG. Yeah. And there it is, right? So info, I'm just passing all of this to info. Info is going to take it all in. Here's the things it's going to take in specifically, and then it'll use these. So this needs to match up with this, but I don't have to declare it here. I like that. I don't know if I'll remember that, but I like it. Okay, HTML doesn't have a way of expressing logic. Quite true. Svelte does, not surprisingly. To conditionally render some markup, we wrap it in an if box. For example, if the user is logged in, you give them a login button. And if the user is not logged in, or sorry, if the user is logged in, we give them a login button. If the user is not logged in, no, if the user is logged in, we give them a logout button. If the user is not logged in, we give them a login button. Okay, this is just toggling it. Oh yeah, right, okay. So if this and if not this. Yep, just simple if statements. Could probably do loops, so if and else. It's another way of doing the same thing, right? If the user logged in, give it a logout button. Otherwise, so we don't even need to consider that state, give them a login button. Okay. Now this is all a block. Okay, let's go back here for a sec. Right, okay, so we had them here too. Right. A hash character always indicates a block opening character. A slash character always indicates a block closing character. Oops. So, and then the else indicates a block continuation. Don't worry, you've already learned almost all the syntax that adds to HTML. Yeah, I can really see the value of that though, because I do stuff like this all the time, and you have to call a JavaScript function. It's really annoying. Alright, multiple conditions can be chained together with else if, right? Okay. If you need to loop over lists of data, use an each block, right? Each cat, this is straight out of Python. Each cat says cat. So, yeah. So the way I would do this in Perl, for example, I'd say for each cat in the array cats, right? So here it's each cat says cat. Cats equals, cats is not defined, so let's put this in. Control C. Famous cats of YouTube. Now cats should be defined, and it's not. One. There we go. I don't know how this is different from what I did. Right, so I got a nice little I got a nice little list of entities here, or objects here. These are the IDs from the YouTube video. There it is right there in use. Right, here's the names, the name of the cat. So the expression cats in this case can be any array or array-like object. For that is, it has a length property. That's why this isn't an well, it is an array. It's an array of objects. You can loop over generic iterables with each iterable. So each cat says ID name. I see what's happening here, right? So you have to specify ID. So yeah, that way I don't have to say cat.id, cat. I just refer to the name of the variable. Okay. By default, I wonder if nobody's watching. Right. Oh, we had somebody watching ever so briefly. By default, if you want to modify the value of each block, it will add and remove items at the end of the block and update any values that have changed. It's easier to show why than to explain. Click to expand the console, whatever that means. Then click remove first thing. Okay. Alright. It does not remove the first thing component, but rather the last DOM node. Then it updates the name value in the remaining DOM node. Okay. So here's our thing component. So we'd like to remove only the first thing and its DOM node and leave the rest unaffected. Let's reload this and run their example again. Okay, let's keep in mind what's okay. So apple, apple, apple. Okay, remove first thing should be removing the apple. It does not remove the first thing component. But rather the last DOM node. Okay, so we've got 5 nodes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what it's going to do is it's going to remove this last node, right? And then it's going to write. It's going to write numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 into 1, 2, 3, and 4. That I think is what's happening here. But instead, we'd like to remove only the first thing and leave the others unaffected. So we're going to create a unique key for each block. Okay, let's show. Okay, so we've done that here. Now remove first thing. Now my prediction is, I'm pointing at the screen, the thing that says emoji for Apple is Apple. That's going to disappear, but the space will still be there. Nope. You get exactly the same behavior. You don't know what they're saying. And I don't know, and more to the point, I don't know why it's important. Like, why are we haven't done anything practical yet. Why are we this deep into the weeds of something I don't understand matters? Okay, so thing. You can use any object as the key, as Svelte uses a map internally. Okay. You could do thing instead of thing.id. Yeah, you wouldn't need to number these. Why would you? Let's reset this. I just want to try one little thing. Alright. Display, okay. ID is not defined. No, that's not what they did. Oh, let's look at the console log. That's it. Okay. Let's inspect console. Alright, first we will do the original. Alright, console cleared, running Svelte, remove first thing. Thing destroyed egg. Egg. Aha! Egg. Right, so it destroyed the last thing each time and then it would have refilled. So now when we show this, now remove first thing, apple, banana, carrot. Right. So now, okay. When you modify the value of an each block, it will add and remove items at the end of the block and update any values that have changed. So if I say I want to remove the first thing, it'll remove this and then update all the remaining four names. So it'll change the first thing to banana, the next one to carrot, etc. Okay, I get that. So to fix that, the thing name equals thing name. Right, so now when we're saying for each thing, still not totally clear, but it's clear enough. We'll see what happens when it comes up in something real, which we haven't done yet. Okay, most web applications have to deal with asynchronous data at some point. Svelte makes it easy to await. Yeah, this is important. Okay, so right, async function, get random number. So we're going to have a fetch, and we have to wait. So it's an async function, right? So all right, promise equal get random number. Okay, so await promise. So generate random number. Oh, we're gonna have to put that in here somewhere. Alright, here we go. Await promise, waiting, generate random number, waiting, failed to generate. Okay, so it generated an error for us. Waiting, the number. Yeah. So the result is the thing, and then text. This is all very similar to ordinary JavaScript. What we don't have is the .then thing. So await a promise, the number, catch the error. That's the syntax that we use. And this is a block, right? Alright. And you can listen to any event. Let's see, on directive, so on mouse move. So, okay, there we go. Must have, okay, the mouse move handler must have an ARIA role. Okay, what is the mouse move handler? Probably this. Yeah. Let's look that up. All right. Okay, so B hyphen ARIA role. Okay, so let's go back here. So let's go here. Nope. Not this div. It's the only div I've got. Well, how to put an ARIA role in there? In here? Nope, same problem. Nope. Okay, let's try maybe something that isn't Microsoft, so it's written in English. Div, oh, just role equals button. Just like that. Maybe. Unknown role. Okay, so it has to be a designated role. Just trying to find most of, helps if I spell move correctly. I don't want button roll, I just want roll. Div roll. Well, I could just have roll equals none. That might work. There we go. Right. Okay, so that's interesting. So there's learn something every day, right? So so there are specific roles, and then I'm sure each one of these has other things that it needs to do. I suppose I said cell roll. Roll equals roll. Link, list, list box, log. Is there a move? No. Note, table, tab roll. See if I have a different roll. So let's put tab in here. Right, whoops, let's put tab in here spelled correctly. So it must have a tab index value. Tab index equals 3. Let's spell index correctly. Avoid tab index values above 0. So, yeah, so that's a ton of stuff to learn there that I don't know about. Array of roles. But it totally makes sense. Just, I don't know that stuff. Okay. Alright, so there's some value in this separate from learning about Svelte. Alright, next. Can also declare event handlers inline. So unmouse over or unmouse move E, so that E is for the event. So the E, we're going to declare an array, or well, an object where the value is X is E client X, Y is E client Y. So that's the event client X, the event client Y. So we're getting those values. So we'll have values of X and Y. And so the mouse position is M.X and M.Y. So that's pretty cool. They also need a roll. Roll equals none. Makes it happy. Makes it good. No, not really. The roll is none. Alright. DOM event handlers can have modifiers that alter their behavior. Okay, so function handle click, alert, no more alerts. Click me, clicked, and now no more alerts. Guess I have to put that in there. Oh yeah, click once. Handle click. Oh yes, here we go. Click once. So only the first. So click once, and nothing ever happens after. So prevent default calls event. Prevent default. Stop propagation. Passive, non-passive, capture. Fires the handler during the capture phase instead of the bubbler phase. Bubbling phase. Don't even know what that means. Oh, event bubbling. Okay, so you have a button. Elements can be nested inside each other. For example, a button can be put in a div element. So, oh, if you put the event listener in the parent, and then the person, so yeah, so then it would sort of bubble up to the parent where the listener is. That's assuming nothing's changing. Okay. All right. Components can also dispatch events as well. Import create event dispatcher. And here's the inner. Say hello. See what this looks like. Click to say hello. Hello. So import inner and then function handle message. So import create event dispatcher from Svelte. Okay, so we actually import the function. Import inner. Dispatch message. Text equals hello. Handle message. Okay, it's another way of communicating from one of these apps to another, I think. Unlike DOM, component events don't bubble. If you want to listen to an event on some deeply nested component, the intermediate components must forward the event. I could see how that would make things a lot more secure. One way to be okay. Well, we can solve this problem by creating event dispatcher. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so if you got, here's your top level div, intermediate, bottom level div. Maybe it's a button. If you want to listen for the button click here, and the button click takes place down here, normally you'd have to go boink, boink, boink. If you create a dispatcher, you can just link this and the little tiny button down here together, and so this thing, when you click the button, it'll dispatch a message to the top level. Which is a load of code to write. So Svelte gives us shorthand. We can just use a message. So inner Svelte, outer Svelte. Right. This outer is the middle layer. Inner is the inner layer. That was the unit. So inner Svelte. Well, it has nothing in it, does it? Oh, well, let's put all the code in place. Right. So create event dispatcher from Svelte. Dispatch. Let's create event dispatcher. So say hello. Dispatch message. So it'll fire off a message. Doesn't look like it has to be directed to anyone. No. And then app handle message. On message handle messages. See, on message, this name specifically. See, I think that if I change that to, so you know, okay, this will work now, right? Now, if I change this to massage, now it's not going to work, right? But if I come up here and change this to massage, this should work. And it does not. So it has to actually be titled message. Okay. That's annoying. It means I can only do it once. Dispatch message. Is there a reason for that? Do I have to use the word message specifically? Handle message on message equals handle message. Because I'd like to be able to name these messages, right? Alert event detail text. Oh. All right. On massage. Dispatch massage. Enter on massage. Now that should work. Yes. All right. So I still have to do something in between. Enter on massage. But I just have to indicate that the thing exists. So I'm still creating the chain. It's just more abbreviated. Event forwarding works for DOM events too. We want to get notified of clicks on our custom button. We do that. Just need to forward click events on the button element in custom button. Right now nothing. We'll update the code. Button clicked. So here's my custom button. Looks beautiful. On click. Click me. Alright, so on click. And so we'll import the custom button from this. There it is. With the on click. And then we can create my function handle click right here. Button clicked. So on click equals handle click. Right. And then if I just change that to clock and clock, oh, it's going to catch that as an error. That's nice. Now that'll still work. Alright. As a general rule, data flow in Svelte is top down. Parent set props to child components. Right? Sometimes it's useful to break that rule. For example, in the case of an input element, yeah. So we could add an on input, right? But it's a bit boilerplatey. Yeah, exactly. So instead we can use the bind value directive. Import bind value equals name. Okay, I get that. So let name equal pair, hello pair, and it's also going to be in here. So I can change it here. Oh, but it doesn't change it. You hit enter? Nope. Oh, we have to, there we go. Bind value equals name. Right. So now it'll work. Right. I like that. I wonder how far in I am. Like, there's no real way to tell, eh? What if I click this? Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, there's so much more. So these are all the bindings. Text inputs, the life cycle, stores, motion transition, module code, next step, congratulations. Alright. So, bindings. Oh, okay, so we're going to bind. So, A equals 1, B equals 2. Okay. So here this is a neat little scrolly thingy. Wonder where that came from. Input type equals number. Okay, Svelte actually generates all the JavaScript needed for this. Label display equals flex. It's kind of neat. What I don't know is how it knows to use the sliders. Input type equals number. Okay, that must be what it is, right? I'll change that to text. No, nothing changes. Oh, number and range. I get it. Okay, here's the number, and now this is the range. If I remove this, right. Oh, that's really cool. That means, so I have two ways of putting in the input. They both bind to the same value. And so if I change it once, it changes it everywhere. Okay, that's neat. Checkboxes are used for toggling between states. Okay. Right. Okay. What's this? Scoops. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're binding, here's size, here's flavors. Okay. And then it'll show me the results. Can't order more flavors than scoops, I see. So there's a bit of logic here. So you can use bind group. Okay, so scoops. Okay, so we're just going to begin with this. Menu. And then we'll have the logic here. Okay. Okay. Text area. Yep. Behaves similarly to a text input in Svelte. Use bind value to create the two-way binding between the text area. Okay, so let's text area binding. that in here. Right. And now, right. HTML not value, but that's, and then the text area itself. This is kind of cool, right? This is the markdown. It's a markdown style of text input. Find value with select. Submit. Okay, so let's put in the code here. Okay. Submit. Okay. So we have to handle the submit. So we're binding the value with the answer. Okay. So that can have a multiple attribute. Yes, we know that. Here we go. Elements with content editable attributes support the following bindings. I like this. Inner HTML, inner text, text content. Alright, so here we have the style content editable. And now we'll bind it. So right here. So this is my content editable. And whoops, no. I tried to do Control B for bookmark. So don't know how I would get, well, I guess I'd have to use a menu or something to change this to bold or whatever. Okay, next. Bind properties in each block. This binding is where all the work is done here first for something like this. Okay. Audio and video elements. Bind duration. So oops. Alright. I'd need to see like examples of this in actual implementation. Okay. Edit me. Oh yeah, I can change the size. This is a range. So I can, yeah, so height, width, client height, client offset, etc. Size equals fine. All the way down to virtually nothing. 7px. Okay. Now read only this binding applies to every element and component and allows you to obtain a reference to rendered elements. For example, we can get a reference to a canvas element. And here's our canvas element. Okay, you can combine. Okay, so and you can bind to component instances themselves. So here's my input field as a component instance. Export function focus. Okay. So you can't do field focus since it's undefined. Okay, so now button on click. Oh yeah, okay, I see. Just lets me create a way to focus the input. Every component has a life cycle. Okay, we're on a new section here. Life cycle on mount, destroy before update with tick. Stores. Alright, well there's a lot more here, and I don't know if I want to go through the rest of it because it's resulting in some pretty boring video. Let's go back to the home page. Here's the docs, which basically just ran through Svelte. Here we go. Examples. Reactivity, logic, events, life cycle, readable stores. Readable stores. Transitions. I think there's a clock I could make. Context API. Looks like some of these things don't work. Again, these aren't really examples, they're sort of so we use Hacker News. So okay, what have we got here? So we import some stuff from Svelte. Poor man's rotor. Here we go. Here's the fetch. Oh, it's just fetching it from the Heroku app. So I'll just copy this, paste this. Oh, no, you don't need Reddit. Paste and go. Yeah, so it's an API linking us to using Heroku to link us up to Hacker News. Tell us anything. Project URL. Hacker News unofficial API, which is running on Heroku. Okay, so that's what's happening here. So it's the sort of thing you could do, I suppose. Oops, no normal content. That actually looks really cool. But that's not what I'm interested in at the moment. La-di-da-di-da. Okay. More examples. Immutable data. So, okay. You know what's needed is a project, right? Because I get all these parts. These parts I understand. And if I had to, I could go through with the instruction, because I haven't memorized them, obviously, but I could go through and figure it out You know, do an in and out, whatever that is. Oh, flies in, fades out. Okay. Guess we're not actually going to get to see it, but not all of these seem to be working as well as I'd like. Oh, okay, there we go. In and out. Okay, so we go. Right. So, show modal. Right, so this is just one of those click outside modal things. I hate those personally. Alright. Adding parameters. That's funny. More complex action. Oh yeah. So, but what I need, right, like, give me an example application, like, I don't know, a grocery store inventory application, or a restaurant reservation application, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know where my data is being handled at this point. You know, because it's all completely front end, I guess. I mean, we didn't see anything about data, because it's all REST, right? So there's going to have to be something on the other end. This is all front end stuff. And here we go, CRUD, right? Create, update, string, delete, create. Oh, I see. Okay, this is slightly different logic. So, but where's the stuff going? I don't know. Is it just all in local storage? Could be. Tasks, CRUD. See, this is what I don't know, right? Yeah. So suppose I had a restaurant and a guest list. Okay, this is really useful for a guest list, but you know, what if I want to access these again later? What if I want to access these on a different computer? Can I do that? You know? So that's a mystery to me. Let's go back to Svelte. Try it locally. Okay. Examples. So these are the examples, right, that we just looked at? Yeah. So they're examples, but they're not examples. I mean, I like them. They're good little examples. Blog. So complete. Try local and stack. Let's. Everything you need to build a new Svelte project. Try editing the source roots. See, this is okay. This is a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't see in our tutorial at all. Would I be getting to it later in the tutorial, maybe? Oh crap! I'm in the stupid. Let's go Control H. We'll jump in. We're in the new tutorial. Here we go. Let's come back there. Okay, and let's look at the table of contents. Bindings we did. Motion stores. Writable stores. Okay. The stores, simply an object. Alright, so a store sort of looks like a place where we can put stuff. Alright. Motion, transitions. Okay, well, we saw a little bit of that. The animations, styling, component composition, context API. It's not going to help us. Special elements. The congratulations thingy. That's cute. Yeah. Nothing about roots. Nothing about roots. Let's go into source, roots, page.svelte. Because this all looks like a node application. Or maybe Express, just something like that. None of this is mentioned. Oh, this is Svelte Kit. Oh, okay. We'd completely forgotten about Svelte Kit. Remember Svelte Kit? Come back to the tutorial. Right. Basic Svelte. Advanced Svelte. I don't have the back button. Is it right? Okay. Basic Svelte Kit. This is the thing that makes our app framework. Okay. Okay. Svelte Kit apps are server rendered by default, like traditional multi-page apps. Could do a single page app like a React app, or you could have a multi-page app like this. So Svelte Kit is a framework that grows with you. All right. So first of all, we'll look at the project structure. The Svelte Kit's a lot more important than Svelte itself, although Svelte's kind of like jQuery and Svelte Kit's kind of like Node. There's a way of thinking of it. Alright. Package.json. Let's have a look at that. Right, so here's going to be the different dev, build, preview. The dependencies that we may have. Hopefully those will be pretty minimal. Svelte config. I don't know what CSRF means. Cross-scripting something something. I bet you. Vite is whatever that is. And here's our app. Our app, okay, our app is actually our page. And here's our page. Welcome to Svelte Kit. So the app basically is going to render this page, I guess. Yeah, display content Svelte Kit body, whatever that is. Alright. the body. Okay. Whoops. That's not what I had in mind. Oh, next generation front end tooling. Whatever. Okay. I think he probably would have wanted to look at Svelte kit first rather than all that crap with Svelte. Alright. Svelte config.js contains your... Okay, Svelte kit uses Vite. Right, and this is what I clicked on before. So Vite is front-end tooling. What is Vite? It's a development environment. Okay. All right. Source is where your source code goes. Static is where your static assets go. Alright, that's just a directory and then the app. Static is probably just a directory. Yep. Package, city. Okay. So these are just some config stuff. Alright. So what am I solving? There's nothing to solve here. Okay. Routing. Routing means sending you to the right page, basically. So it uses a file system based routing, which means that the routes of your app, in other words what your app should do when you navigate to a particular URL, are defined by directories in your code base. Okay. So, oh I see, so I have an about route. Right now there's nothing in it, right? And then the page is probably the main default. Okay, so navigate to about EC404 not found. Okay, so we'll need, oh I see, we need a plus page dot svelte inside here. Right. So now that should be, yeah, there it is. Right. Now I get about and home. About and home. Alright. I wonder how I got that nice graph bar. I guess that's the way, just the way this works. Unlike traditional multi-page app, navigating to about and back updates the contents of the current page like a single page app. This gives us the best of both worlds, fast server render startup and instant navigation. Okay, layouts. Alright, so different routes of your app will often share a common UI. Instead of repeating it in each page, we'll use a layout component that applies to our routes. In this app we have two routes, or routes, that contain the same navigation UI. Let's create a new file, layout, and move the duplicated content into this new file. So let's do that. Oops. Yeah, right. So layout. There's our nav bar, what I was wondering about. No, let's figure this out. Okay, so add a third one. Oh, right, okay. Okay, now let's change this to thing. We'll change this to thing. And that changes this nicely. Okay. And now I'll need a new directory. Oh, I don't know how to add a directory. hmm. I don't know how to add a directory. Presumably I would add a directory here called thing. So there doesn't appear to be any way to do that in this interface. Presumably if I'm working in VS Code or something I could. Can I just maybe hit enter? No. Preview. No. 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 No, there doesn't look like there's any way to actually change that. Alright, never mind. But I know, if I added another directory and put page Svelte in there, that would work. I wonder what this is. Slot. Oh, this is kind of cool too. It has breadcrumbs. Oh, that's the, it's not a breadcrumb, that's the nav that I broke from before. That's going to be a layout. Yeah, there it is. That's better. Alright. So what is this slot thing? Don't know what the slot thing is. The slot is where page content will be rendered. Okay. Oh, I see. I get it. Next, root parameters. And you can nest layout to arbitrary depth. Okay. Create roots with dynamic parameters. Use square brackets around a valid variable name. So, for example, in the root blog, slug, yeah, maybe the blog post number. So let's do that. So blog 1, blog 2, blog 3. Right. So let's look at blog. Oops. Blog posts. Slug. Oh, I see. And then for each blog post, right, so if I had an actual value, I could put it in here. So we can navigate from the blog page to individual blog posts. In the next chapter we'll see how to load the content. Alright, next, loading data. So at its core, its job boils down to three things. Routing, loading, getting the data, and rendering, bring it up there. I'd like it to have 4 things. I'd like to be able to gather and save data, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay, let's talk about the middle part, loading. Every page of your app can declare a load function. This module only ever runs on the server, including for client-side navigations. And yeah, I can see that. I can see why that would be the case. Alright. It's just that C-list thing that I was showing you earlier that was sort of not working. Is entirely client-based. There's no server needed, which I think is a real value. But I can certainly see all the issues that it creates. Okay. This module only ever runs on the server, including for client-side navigation. So let's add the page server.js file so we can replace the hard-coded links with actual blog post data. Okay. So import posts from data.js. Export function, load, return the post slug and the post title. And that's just for the summaries. Okay. Okay, for the sake of this tutorial, we're importing data. Okay, in a real app, you'd be loading it from a database or a CMS, but for now, we'll do it like this. Got it. So let's do that. Here we have our summaries. Right. Here's all of our individual posts. Right, and so where is roots blog data? Data.js. Right, okay, and this is right. Now, it's interesting. This just simply exports this content. But I could get this content from somewhere else and then export it like this. You can access this data via the data properties. So in page Svelte, we're export let data. And we're exporting the data. Okay. Data.js. Export content as posts. Import posts from data.js. Okay. So posts, we're importing it from data.js. Export function loads, and we call the load, we're going to return all of these. So the page server import posts from this is different. here I only have one dot. Here I have two dots. Otherwise it's the same. So I guess it's just because this is in a different spot. If I was down in here, we go. I see. I have page server in two distinct places. That's kind of weird. I have it in slug, and then I have it here just in vlog. I don't know if I need it just in vlog, but I have it here. Oh, I need it here so that I can do the summaries. Okay. And then I have it here so that I can get the individual post. So post equals find post. Yeah, here we go. Find a specific post. Okay, and if the post doesn't exist, throw an error. Alright. Layout data. Yawn. Oops. Oh, that threw an error. Let's yawn. Let's reload the page. Okay. Suppose we'd like to add a more post sidebar to our blog posts page. Oh, maybe it hadn't finished loading yet. Nope. Nope. Oh, here we go. No. Alright. Is it asking us for yep. Svelte tracking again is going to break this tutorial right here. Well, I'm going to end this here. And the reason why I'm going to end this here is I have zero interest in having to turn on Svelte tracking. Yeah, see again, we're going to have errors maybe? I don't know. Headers. Yeah, now it's just showing us the HTML of everything that we're looking at. Yeah, this is broken now. These are all going to be broken. Deeply nested root. Alright, that's it. I'm done. So I guess both sides of Dave Lade's comment make sense. It's a really interesting framework, and I can see how it would be very powerful, but I can't use it without being tracked by Svelte. And I'm not willing to do that. So there we go. So that's it for this episode of Stephen Follows Instructions. And I won't be using Svelte, but I certainly did learn a lot having this look at it. And I declare it broken. Broken by means of commercialization. So that's it for now. I'll see you next time.